Welcome, everyone, to episode 22 of the Golden Squeeze podcast. We had an action-packed Monday Night Raw and NXT, and we are going to hop right into it. Monday Night Raw started off with a promo from Sami Zayn and then a match between Zayn and Chad Gable, which furthered the Alpha Academy storyline. And I actually don't mind this storyline. It's not bad for a nice mid-card storyline. I remember back in the day, mid-card storylines, they pushed Raw pretty far and back in the day and went away from that under Vince. Vince only really cared about the main card. He didn't care about the mid-card. So I'm glad that Triple H is doing everything he can to create interesting storylines from the first hour all the way up until the third hour. But the match between the two of them, I thought they put on a pretty good match. I always enjoyed. I like Chad Gable's style of wrestling. He reminds me a lot of Kurt Angle just in his style, which, it's very enjoyable for me. I know there are rumors on the internet of him potentially coming back to be a mouthpiece for Chad Gable. I don't think Chad Gable needs a mouthpiece.
No,
I think that
I don't think so either.
I think he does a good job of pretty much being Kurt Angle, of just mimicking his style and his cadence and the way that he talks and is degrading to people. So I don't think he needs that. But yeah, but I enjoyed this. I enjoyed most of this. I don't need Maxine Dupree and I don't need Akira Tozawa. And I know that that's Alpha Academy. I enjoy what goes on between Chad Gable and Otis. I don't think that Maxine Dupree is ready for the main roster. And
I don't either.
I think WWE knows that. So they don't try to overexpose her. And the announcers always talk about her being green. I mean, they talk about that. So they know that she's green. Kind of reminds me of an Ava Marie in that sense, where I think they know, but they see her face and they see the way that she looks and they think we need to have this blonde girl on the main roster. She's a little bit of eye candy. I don't know. But I don't know. But I only care about Otis. I don't care about the other two. What do you think?
Well, the big difference in Ava Marie and Maxine is she seems week to week, which is surprising to me with how green she is in the ring. She's starting to get over with the crowd. And so they pity her. Well, I don't think it's pity her. They didn't pity Ava Marie.
That's different, though, because Ava Marie was cocky and she's humble. Like, Ava Marie had a character that was very cocky and was easy to hate, and she was bad. You can't be a heel and be bad.
Those are valid points.
Yeah, but for her, she doesn't come out and say, oh, I'm the best, I'm this, I'm that. She acknowledges the fact, or at least seems to acknowledge the fact that she needs... I mean, heck, she's in a storyline right now where she has a mentor, a tutor that's helping her to get better. So she's humble in that sense, and I think that's why the crowd, they recognize the fact, oh, she's trying, she's humble, and she's green, so why don't we try to cheer her? But also, she did get heat on social media, and she got defended, not recently, like 3 or 4 months ago, and she had to get defended by like Becky Lynch and a lot of the other more tenured female wrestlers who came to her defense saying, hey guys, leave her alone, because the internet was killing her originally. I think Ripley came to her defense, and I think Becky came to her defense. I think somebody else did. Maybe it was Raquel came to her defense. So she's getting over, because I think that the internet recognizes that she's trying and she's not out there trying to be someone who she's not.
Yeah, I just wonder if she continues to get a positive response, if they'll be able to separate that response from the fact that she's green and maybe needs to go do a stint on NXT, or if they'll just keep her there.
I think they'll keep her there. I think they should. Or she'll just be out of the company. She'll be one of the releases next year.
Well, we'll see. I mean, and who knows? Maybe she'll just keep improving and improving, because if you've got the backing of those very talented, phenomenal other females in the locker room with her, you're only going to get better by learning from them.
Yeah.
And so
100%.
We'll see. But talk me down from this, but I don't like Chad Gable's finishing pin. I don't like it. He does the ankle lock. He's compared to Kurt Angle. Just do the ankle slam. I mean, I just don't.
Okay.
What about that suplex is supposed to be like a devastating finisher? What am I missing something?
It's the speed at which he does it, and then the neck compressing down in the ring can almost paralyze a man.
I mean, is that what they're trying to
Similar
say?
to Hogan's
that like
leg drop coming down in the larynx right there and crushing the windpipe.
Yeah.
You know, you got to think about what he's actually doing there. If I were to do that to you outside on cement, you'd probably be dead.
But they're doing it in a ring.
I'm playing devil's advocate. I don't disagree with you.
Okay, I mean, because like I said, I watched it. I even rewound it a couple of times the other night. I was like, okay, am I missing something here?
They can't give him an ankle. They cannot give him a Gable slam. They can't do that.
They give him the ankle lock,
and they shouldn't have. They shouldn't have. So you can't go all in, because if you go all in and unless if they want to go all in, then they would have to eventually set up a storyline between him and Kurt Angle. That's the only way that you can go all in on him just having Kurt Angle's entire moveset, in my opinion.
I mean,
which I don't have a problem with if they're fighting against each other at some point.
I don't know. I guess, and let me preface this: I love Kevin Owens, but I will never like anybody besides Stone Cold using that move.
No, it's terrible. But he's more perplexing though, because the pop-up powerbomb,
oh dude,
was awesome. Like
it still is.
Yeah,
he doesn't use it as much, but
I know. But that should be his only finisher. He never needed the stunner, is the thing. No. He had his moveset was amazing when he first came to the WWE. He's a little bit more bland now. I still love Kevin Owens, but he was so innovative when he first came into the WWE.
And dude, speaking of his moveset, I know we're already veering here, but that cannonball move, that's a finisher to me. That is a believable finisher.
The senton that he does in the corner?
Yes. That's believable to me.
If you're telling me a stink face is a finisher, then that's got to be a finisher.
Dude, and same thing with Andrade's double knees in the corner. How is that not a finisher?
Yeah.
I mean, I just, I don't know. Anyways, we, like we've said before, we could go on and on and on about finishers and what it are and are not finishers. But, dude, and I've never been a huge fan of when a match is going to take place for the title, like within a week, having a non-title matchup the week before. Yes, I understand it's not going to be a triple threat, but I've never even, because they used to do that a lot.
Yeah,
and
that's nothing new.
They don't do it as much anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that. I just don't know how. I don't care for it. I don't. But
yeah,
it's fine. But the match itself was fine, and Otis reluctantly helped Chad Gable, and in my favorite part of the match, after it was over, Chad Gable was saying, "I did it." If I'm not mistaken, I think he said, "I did it."
And it wasn't just that. Otis was in the ring with them, and the camera was on both of them, and then Chad Gable went in front of Otis to make sure that you couldn't see Otis anymore. I mean, obviously, based off their size, you could still see a little bit of Otis.
Oh yeah,
but instead of being next to each other, he made sure to get right in front of them.
That was awesome.
That's great heel work. It's great heel work. I commend him for that.
And I want to know if that was written in by somebody or if he just did that on his own at the ring.
Yeah, I mean, that looked like he did that on his own. He's got a good mind.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that tag team had a good mind. Him and Jason Jordan. Jason Jordan's a producer now, doing great work. Those two guys, man, they're doing some good things. And
what happened with him? His neck as well, Jason Jordan.
Probably Ridge Holland. I don't know. You know, Ridge Holland goes after the blacks. Doesn't matter if you're light skinned like him or dark skinned like Big E. He's gonna find you.
Oh, fret not. We're going to get to Ridge Holland and that never-ending storyline later, folks.
Unfortunately, before we do that, we're going to get into Braun Breaker versus Kale Dixon, who was apparently a contestant on The Bachelor, according to the announcers on WWE. I don't watch that programming, but maybe my wife knows who he is.
That name, I just started laughing. I was like, Kale Dixon?
Kale Dixon. They named him after a type of greenery. But anyways, Braun Breaker, I guess they turned him heel.
I'm assuming, especially with what happened later.
Yeah. He gave a crushing spear to Mr. Dixon. He's trying to lay claim to the best spear in the WWE. I question whether or not at some point in time there will be a spear versus spear match. Whenever our tribal chief comes back, maybe one day, 5 years down the road, as Roman Reigns only has one match a year by that point, well, maybe one day fight Braun Breaker and pass the torch to him. Because Braun Breaker could be a star inside this company, in my opinion, if they use him correctly, which to this point, it's arguable if they have. I'm not a big fan of 2-second squash matches, especially not when that's all you've ever been in, and you've been on the main roster for on and off for 3 months now. We can't give him a real match. They gave him Cedric Alexander, and I thought that maybe they give Cedric like 3 minutes, but no, they gave him 45 seconds, which is more than anybody else. But I don't know. He's a heel now, I'm fine with that. But man, he hits those ropes hard, and I cannot wait to see him hit the ropes hard against an actual contender. My concern is they're doing Goldberg-like things with him. I don't like Goldberg-like things when Goldberg would only have 1-minute matches for an extended period of time. I don't like that.
I know. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think they know this, the current audience now. I don't think that's going to be an issue. And I still, even though it did not happen this week, I still think his first 10-minute match on Raw, I'm still leaning towards Dijak. I think they've had matches before in NXT, good matches, if I recall correctly. And Dijak's a hell of a worker. And as much as it pains me to say that, because I don't, I wish they would have kept Dijak in NXT and given him the North American title. But with him being up on Raw, I think he's going to be used to elevate other guys. But I mean, my God, that guy can put on good matches, and I think they should do that, because that would be a good, believable win for him, and we could get a good 10-minute match at least.
Here's what I think that's not going to happen. So I've discussed this before, that there, in my opinion, is a large contingent of WWE fans who don't watch NXT. And I think that putting 2 NXT guys against each other for his first 10-minute match, I just don't think that the fans would care as much about that. I think they're going to feed him somebody like
that's fair.
Someone not like Cedric Alexander. Who did he attack backstage?
Ricochet.
That's what I was going to say. His first 10-minute match is going to be against Ricochet. That's who it's going to be against. And I don't like the fact that he's going to win, only because I don't want Ricochet to lose. But he's going to beat Ricochet.
Yeah,
and then one day he's going to battle against Braun Strowman, and I think after Ricochet it's going to be Braun Strowman, because Braun Strowman's going to come to protect Ricochet since they are friends, and then he's going to beat Braun Strowman, and that's going to be a signature win for him, beating a guy of that size and that athleticism with that type of pedigree within the company. I think that is what is in store for our friend Braun Breaker.
Yeah, that'd be, I'd say probably as early as Money in the Bank, but I don't know how much longer this thing with Strowman and Judgment Day is going to go. But
yeah,
I'm thinking at the latest, I could see Strowman first breaker at SummerSlam.
You can really highlight his strength and athleticism against a guy like Strowman, lifting him up or spearing him and making him go like 10 feet backwards. I think that could really highlight his moveset and skill set. But it's good to get a new, fresh heel in the company that's not part of the bloodline. So I'm happy about that. I'm actually don't have any problem with them turning him heel.
And I love a good angle where the guy gets carted off in an ambulance.
The best part was he was convulsing while on the stretcher.
He was doing that. Yeah, I forgot
That
about
was the
that.
best
Yeah.
part. Did you hear who interviewed Breaker? Who talked to him? Someone talked to him.
Adam Pearce.
Adam Pearce. And he made a comment which I'm probably intentionally says, "Well, I'm not good at math," and I think he was referencing
Yes.
the Steiner math promo.
Okay, because when he said that, and I rewound it a couple times, and I was a little confused. But okay, if there's a
do you remember the old promo where Steiner's
Big
trying
Papa
to do
Pump?
yeah, he's trying to do the math in the ring.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah, I think that's what that was, and I thought that was a good.
okay,
That was a good
very
callback to
very good,
one of the
very good.
most famous or infamous
I
promos
forgot him.
in the
Okay,
history of WCW, I guess, but the number one moment probably in Steiner history, and he's a Steiner, so
was
don't
that
forget that.
WCW or TNA when he did that promo?
Yeah, I don't know.
All right,
I don't know. I have no idea.
but
Whatever it was,
I forgot about
it's
that.
a program I wasn't watching at the time, but obviously I'm familiar with the promo because it's made its rounds around
Oh yeah,
the internet. But
good catch, man. Because
yeah,
obviously I missed it, but once you said that, I do remember that because I actually myself saw it on the internet not too terribly long ago.
yeah,
So,
yeah. All right. So then next, leaving from that match, we got Queen of the Ring qualifier. Semifinal, have an opportunity to face whoever's going to win on Friday. Io Sky versus Lyra Valkyria, and
good match.
it was a good match. It was a good match. I really enjoy Io.
Mm-hmm. I don't enjoy her losing, but
I'm okay with it in this context, in a tournament concept with an up and comer that they're obviously trying to build up. I can take this loss. I mean, obviously there are some losses I don't like, but someone had to lose. I don't know if I would have been okay with Valkyria losing this early, even though I know very little about her. But I do know that she did a good job in NXT, and it looks like they're trying to reward her with something. Who's on the SmackDown bracket? She gets the winner of
Nia and Bianca.
And
so
Bianca.
presumably, okay. I think Nia's winning the whole thing, and she should. That's
yeah.
my personal opinion. I think
no.
Because they're gonna do the Bianca.
I think SmackDown wins. I'll say that.
Yeah, I think they're gonna continue with the angle of Bianca's leg being hurt, but she's not gonna be able to superpower her way out of this one against Nia.
She could finally Nia if her legs were healthy.
Well, and I think and I think we touched on this before. I think she's going to try to set her up for the KOD. She's going to collapse, and that's going to end with her being taken to the corner and hit with the Annihilator.
Yeah, that's probably true.
And it'll be a pinfall win. You know, they'll chalk it up to the leg going out, and they'll stress that on commentary. And I think, Lyra just coming up. She's still featured prominently in the final. You know,
she can take that loss. That's a fine loss. In the finals of the King of the Ring.
Yeah,
that's already an acceptable loss.
She's already well presented. And man, and just even that, anyways, it was a very good match. I just think they should be presenting Damage Control stronger than they and I didn't like that loss. I didn't like man. I'll think of a real name in a minute. I can never get the Pirate Princess out of my head.
Kairi Sane?
Yes. I didn't like Kairi and Dakota not winning that tag match. And when Io lost, I was like, okay, you have a faction that got drafted over here and is supposed to be presented as strong. Certainly they're going to have them win this tag match, and they didn't. Not that I have a problem with Shayna Baszler realistically, like in the presentation, like that they're going for being part of a winning team. When you have multiple matches where the same faction loses in the same night, it just makes it's hard to be invested in them as a threat on the show. And I just, and granted, could chalk it as a fatal 4-way or whatever, but I don't know. I just don't care for that. But either way,
so you would have been
it was a very good
okay.
match.
You Io winning, or would you have been on here saying that you don't think that Lyra should have lost this?
No, well, here's the thing. Yes, I would have been fine with Lyra losing because they had Dragunov lose clean to Jay, and Jay was a replacement who ended up getting choked out or unable to continue and didn't make it to the final. So if they knew Uso wasn't going to go to the final, why have Dragunov lose clean already? I just, or without selling more of an injury is the reason he lost. They very easily could have just fixed that. I guess
Gunther look strong.
Well, I guess they'd
rather have. My rationale behind that is that Dragunov losing to the arguably the hottest person in WWE right now doesn't hurt Dragunov at all. No, they made him look very strong.
No, and it's not the fact that he lost. And I know Jay's a babyface. I know they're not going to have a D. They're two baby faces fighting, and I know originally it would have been Dragunov versus Drew McIntyre because that's who he replaced, right? Was Drew?
Yeah, and he was never going to be Drew.
No, correct. I have no problem with that at all. But Dragunov oversells all of his injuries. Have it play a considerable role in why he ate the other guy's finisher. Like him wincing in pain and Jay hitting the splash immediately while Dragunov's trying to recover. Something. I mean, I'm not saying he can't be pinned, but this early on, it's like, oh, you're shooting Valkyria to the tournament final as an NXT call-up. She was a former champion. So was he. I mean, they could have just, again, it's not the fact that he lost. I get that for the existing stories and the existing, standing. But just because it's babyface versus babyface doesn't mean there's not ways to have them take a pinfall and make it look a little less clean, if that makes sense. But I know I would not have had a problem if Io lost, with the exception of that more than likely would have given away well, I guess Bianca is going to superhuman her way out of a knee injury against Nia. Because I just have a hard time believing they were going to do babyface versus babyface or heel versus heel. But so that would have been my only issue. But no, dude, I'll never have a problem with somebody that good being booked to win.
Yeah,
but they're both very good. They're both very good, and just I don't know, man. And I know there's a lot of mouths to feed. I just don't like when they have factions constantly losing, and then they keep saying every week, I'm going to run roughshod on Raw, or they're going to do this and they're going to do that. Okay, then have them win every now and again. That's my only gripe. Actually, that was several gripes, but anyways.
That's my only 30 gripes. All right. Next up, though, we had a tag match for the WWE Raw Tag Team titles, whatever they're calling those things. Awesome Truth versus the Judgment Day, JD McDonough and Finn Balor. Awesome Truth got the win with interference from the aforementioned Braun Strowman.
JD McDonough's face was priceless when he walked out.
Yeah, he's a cartoon character.
Oh, but he's good. He's good.
He is good.
He's good.
He's got a stupid face, but he is good. He is good. I think that's what's setting him back, is his body type and his stupid face. But when I say setting him back, I mean he'll never be anything more than what he is. He's never going to ascend any further than this, which is fine. I wonder how they use him once the Judgment Day ultimately breaks up. I mean, it's awkward that he's in the Judgment Day in the first place. But, it is what it is. I enjoy him where he is right now. I also enjoy Awesome Truth, and I also enjoy the 10 knuckle shuffle. Call me call me crazy, but the 10 knuckle shuffle is a great move. I wonder whose idea that was. If it was Miz or if it was R-Truth that says, "Hey, let's both do 5 knuckle shuffles and call it the 10 knuckle shuffle."
Or if it was Cena.
It could have been Cena. It could have been R-Truth's childhood hero is what I call him. It could have been him. But I don't know.
You know, one of my favorite signature moves has always been the Miz's clothesline in the corner. The way he finishes on the ropes like that, and like that.
Yeah.
Man, I've always liked that. I don't know why. You know, he's never going to get a pinfall out of it, but it's just cool looking to me. I like it, and
Miz is underrated.
I've never seen that move not executed correctly either.
He's a pro.
Yeah.
He wasn't always a pro, but Miz has turned into one of the most reliable people the company has.
Yeah. But just a move like that, you know, I'm just surprised that in my recollection, I'm sure one of our 4 viewers can find me several videos of it now, but I don't remember that move ever like being overshot or him not landing it. I don't remember that.
And I'll make the compilation video of the 500 times it's happened.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. And I love the skull crushing finale too. That's one of my personal favorite finishers. But,
it's a good move. The Miz, super talented. In my opinion, I think that the right decision was made, not letting Awesome Truth lose their titles this quickly, and then also furthering a feud between Braun Strowman and the Judgment Day. So all around, I didn't really have any issues that I can remember with this segment. I think that they made the right booking decision, and I think they executed it. Agree or disagree?
I agree to a degree. I like them. And yeah, I don't like titles changing hands too quickly. With the exception of, I think, Liv beats Becky in Saudi Arabia because...
Yeah, Becky's a transitional champion. That's fine.
Right.
Anyone who gets a title because somebody got hurt, they can lose it instantly for all I care.
Right. And I think it'll boost Liv and that whole thing. But this just kind of goes to what I was saying earlier. I don't like when they try to present a faction as dominating, but they keep losing. I don't care how they lose. Just... when you keep booking them to lose,
Judgment Day.
Yeah, I don't like that. That's just me. Maybe not just me. It's just if they wouldn't go out of their way to present them as like essentially a faction with with a better winning percentage than they have, like outside of now Priest and Rhea Ripley, but
let me tell you why I'm fine with it. Because we know they're winding down. That's why I'm fine with it. They've teased all these backstage segments.
That's fair.
Yeah, with even this one where Priest said, or Balor in the backstage segment beforehand said, "I wish it was me and you out there, El Campeon," to Damian Priest. They're winding down. JD McDonough will not be in this much longer. The question is, do they wind down all at once, or is it one by one? Do they start leaving the Judgment Day? But if they're going to have them lose, then the only time, in my opinion, you can do that is during the wind down period, which is what I believe that we're in. So that's the only reason why I'm okay with them losing, because I know they're not going to be a faction for much longer.
Okay. That's fair.
By the way, since we're talking about Judgment Day, there was a picture that made the rounds on the internet of Buddy Murphy on the backside of Ripley on a beach. And I'll send the picture to you later. It was a very nice picture for Rhea Ripley. I'm assuming it's Ripley. You can't see her face. You can only see the back of this, only the back of the person in the bathing suit.
If it's the way you're describing, for the sake of that marriage, I hope it is too.
Anyways, they were on the beach. I could kind of see like a little bit of shoulder. I didn't really see a sling. Did she actually get hurt, or are they just giving her time off?
No, I mean, look at CM Punk. He's not in a sling. I'm sure there's certain things like lifting weights or certain motions. I'm sure laying out at the beach is fine. I mean, that's the way I look at it.
Maybe.
Look at Drew McIntyre.
In my head, I don't want these people doing anything except for training and coming back to the television to
But
appease me.
if they can't train,
I want them to be in a room looking with no lights on, staring at a WWE screen, watching Raw and old episodes of Raw on Peacock.
and taking notes and watching, like, what will the writers have me do next week?
Yeah.
I thought.
I will find the Buddy Murphy picture and send it to you so you can see Buddy Murphy smiling, and you'd be smiling too. Anyways,
I thought you were going to say, speaking of Judgment Day, the latest in the background thing where
I didn't see it.
Well, I didn't either.
I also didn't see about it. What did the internet say?
Sleuths, Liv Morgan and Finn Balor got out of the same SUV.
Interesting.
So
is Liv Morgan going to break up? So it's not. So maybe she's not going after Dom. She's just going to break up the Judgment Day.
No, I think that was now the thing I saw. It showed like Balor got out of the SUV first, and then later Liv Morgan do. So Dom could have been in there, but no, I think it's going to mainly be tied to Dom. But the point is, she is associated like with the whole faction. I think. Well. Mm-hmm. Some of the faction, because remember last week Priest asked Dom, "Hey, is everything okay with you and Rhea?" And then somebody came in and interrupted him.
Yeah,
and so I think he's oblivious. At least that's the way they're presenting it. But the stuff like where you said somebody saw her with Dom's handkerchief or bandana, and then them coming out of the same locker room, just those two. I'm telling you, it's going to be her and Dom and setting off Rhea. But yeah, so
or maybe Rhea comes back to a Judgment Day that doesn't need her anymore, and it's Liv Morgan there. Maybe they go that way. You never know.
Be.
You never know.
Could be.
I think that the Finn Balor angle is wasn't really expecting him to be involved in that side of the storyline in any way, but interesting to see where they go with this.
Yep.
Okay. All right. But we also got another backstage segment after this, and we got the return of Sonya Deville.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome back, Sonya. Glad to see you. She's a looking woman. I'll say that.
She was very. I mean, they were all nice when we met them. Yeah. When we met the wrestlers, but she just seemed like genuinely, like, you know, like just genuinely like pleasant, and like wasn't like putting on like a fake smile or whatever. Like seemed genuinely happy to be there and making wrestling fans happy to meet her. It was like very, and you know, stuff like that, you know, always remember. But okay, and I just haven't had a lot of time to do additional research. Did she used to be in a tag team with Shayna?
Yeah.
Okay. What happened? Because I thought they were both heels at the time she left, but Shayna acted like she didn't want anything to do with her.
I don't remember.
Okay,
because they're in a tag team, but I don't remember I honestly forgot that Sonya Deville existed until Monday.
Okay.
I forgot she was a person.
I was slightly confused at that. And then, but Shayna's like, no, don't talk to her. Like, did she say you can't trust her or something? What did she say?
Yeah, something along those lines. Maybe she did something before she left.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go back because I don't remember that. But
maybe they just created something hoping that we wouldn't remember how she left. And now they're trying to make it seem like something's there and there isn't.
Possibly. But then later, after the women's tag match, there was another segment where in the background you could see Sonya talking to Shayna, and it was Shayna and Zoe, right?
Yeah.
You could see them talking in the back, and like I believe they went their separate ways. But I don't know if you caught that, but they did have another thing where they were talking again, but then it looked like Shayna like still wasn't having it, and they went their separate ways. But
Well, it's nice to see where she's going to be in the lower mid card with Shayna Baszler. Good for her. We'll probably see her on an episode of NXT here, not too long.
but I'm also wondering like what type of role, because I feel like she got hurt.
She did.
Well, I mean,
A neck injury, I believe.
okay, well, if it's neck, then there's always the possibility she may not be wrestling. It could be more of a managerial role.
And she was having a managerial role, I feel like, before she left. Wasn't she one of like an authority figure for SmackDown?
For SmackDown. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And, that would be Shayna Baszler. They just need to, I personally think they should just stick to her doing what she does best, fighting, winning, choking out people. And, give them a mouthpiece.
Yeah. Let her do that.
Yep. That's fantastic.
Let Nick Aldis stop being the GM. Let him return to the ring. And then you can let Sonya Deville be the new GM for SmackDown. Have a female GM for SmackDown, a male GM for Raw. And there, I just solved everyone's issues.
I like Nick Aldis, though. But
he's a wrestler.
Well, I understand, but I've got to wonder, is he hurt?
Yeah. But he's got to be healthy now.
Or
he's Big E and he's just not going to be healthy. I mean, one or the other.
Because, dude, he's good on the mic. I loved the interactions with him and Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
And, he could hold his own like in any of these speaking segments. But I've got a bold prediction.
Let's jot this down, folks. How's Wade going to be wrong this time? Here we go. Let's hear it.
AJ Styles said he doesn't know where he goes from here. He's got to think about it, and he's going to go and talk to Nick Aldis about it.
Okay.
That would be a phenomenal, no pun intended, match.
Nick Aldis versus AJ Styles.
I think that'd be amazing.
Versus Sonya Deville, an intergender triple threat match. You heard it here first, folks. Wade is going back to the China Jeff Jarrett days. Men tussling with women.
My kid asks me all the time, my youngest, like, do the boys fight the girls' daddy? I was like, not really anymore, but they used to.
They did used to. We call those the good old days when Bubba Ray Dudley could powerbomb a 90-year-old woman through a table. Can't do that stuff anymore.
No.
No.
But I'll be interested to see because they've dipped in that well before when he was upset and ended up having a fantastic open WrestleMania against Shane McMahon. That match was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep saying that not intentionally because it's AJ Styles. I just like that word. And that from that particular WrestleMania was one of my favorite matches. I could go back and watch that match anytime. Very good.
Oh yeah.
Match. Very good.
I love the way their styles clashed.
Gosh. Okay. We have veered way off the road here.
Speaking of veering off way down the road, Liv Morgan and the next backstage segment, like her 5th backstage segment of the day, I feel like she is just potentially going insane and maniacal with the laugh that she's now using and her smacking the taste out of Lyra Valkyria's mouth. I think Bleacher said that it's her not so subtle heel turn, and I was confused by that because I was like, hasn't she been a heel for a long time now? When was she a babyface?
No, I mean, if she was kind of a tweener, I thought the fact that she rolled out of the ring to let Becky get attacked 3 against 1 was a full out turn.
Yeah, in my opinion, she's been a heel since at least like February. I mean, it is what it is. But it was just funny when she smacked Valkyria because it seemed to me like it came out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting her just to smack her like that and then just laugh and then prance off. But good on her. Good on her. And then she interrupted Becky Lynch, and which I'm happy with. I'm kind of tired of hearing Becky speak for now. I can do without her promos right now. They're all turning into the same. She was reminding me of Cody. All these promos are just turning into the same promo over and over again.
The reason I like it is because when you put when you put somebody with that star power on every week and put them at the forefront of programming, it makes it gives off the appearance of a bigger deal when she loses, because that's what's about to happen on Saturday. And
hopefully.
Yes, no, dude, I'm telling you that would be a huge misstep if they don't.
Well, guess what? They've made huge missteps before.
Yes,
and they're going to continue to make huge missteps in the future. So You never know. You never know. We'll see. We'll see what happens on Saturday. What time on Saturday is that at?
I think it's noon your time and 11 mine, I believe.
All right. So I'll be watching it.
And you're gonna have
later,
to
not at noon.
You have to give me updates.
Oh no, I don't have baseball. It's Memorial Day weekend. I can watch it live, and my wife's not going to be in town.
Oh,
so me and the kids can watch it.
I'll be on the road, so you'll have to keep me up to date.
The gobbledygooker gets the pen.
And I may, if that really happened, I mean, my trip would be ruined if I missed that live.
No, I've been waiting my whole life for him to get out of that egg. All right. What do we have next before we devolve again? We had the women's tag team number one contender match between Zoe and Shayna. Who was it? Katana Chance and Caden Carter, Maxine Dupree, Ivy Nile, and Dakota Kai and Kairi Sane. Your favorite people are here to lose again.
Yes.
Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark, they picked up the win here. Not a big fan of Zoe Stark, but Shayna Baszler.
I like them as a team, but
as long as she's not talking, I like Shayna Baszler. Her voice to me doesn't fit her body, but I do like Shayna Baszler, and I would like to see her have some success in the WWE.
I'd rather have her go back to the singles success.
Yeah,
because it'd be completely believable.
Have a mouthpiece. I'd like for her to have a mouthpiece, and if she had a mouthpiece,
and she might
coupled with her skill set
very soon. We'll see. Yeah, I think we touched on most of this earlier. It was fine. Carter and Chance, and just they're definitely not as over as I think WWE wants them to be. And it's just this day and age, it's an odd gimmick. It's like they're on the club scene or something. There's
a lot of odd gimmicks out there.
Yeah, but I mean, just that especially, it's like they're good. They are. They're a good tag team. I don't need the goofy smoke cannons or whatever that is. I don't need all that. Just let them go and wrestle. And in a Bleacher Report, when I was reading the breakdowns, and they said something, and I went back and I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. They've got good team moves, but they take a very long time to be executed. And it's just kind of like, okay. And again, I know it's professional wrestling, but again, and it's like, and it's not just in this case. There's just so many you see when the fan favorite is setting up for the big move, and the person on the receiving end is just sitting there like waiting for so long, or like they can't get out of it or something, but they're trying to pump up the crowd.
Suspend disbelief, and then they make us have to do it even further when you make people wait that long to do something.
Especially in a match, and it's magnified when you're in a match like that with that many teams. And it's like, okay, somebody would have come and taken advantage of this by now. You gotta, and it's just, but I mean, no, the breakdown of the match and that particular critique I thought was accurate.
Yeah.
So, but the match was fine, and gosh, Maxine's getting cheered, and she did fine in this match, and yeah, again, I don't like that Damage Control took another loss, but on the flip side of that, I also have to remember that Asuka is hurt, and it's not normally Dakota being in there as a tag team, and so, but still, I just yeah, I've griped enough about it. But Shayna, I think those two are believable tag team champions. So we'll see what
Give him a
happens.
run with the straps. Give him a run with the straps.
And it's just a matter of, are they going to have? You got a former MMA fighter who they had beat Ronda Rousey as part of the tag team. To me, and I
In
know,
fairness, that was when they didn't care about Ronda Rousey and were trying to get her off.
I'm just saying though, that's how she was booked, and she has
Yeah.
that pedigree, and she was once booked as a unstoppable, dominant champion.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, especially if it's worked in an angle where Bianca or Jade, whichever one turns on the other, I could see those two being the tag team champions. So we'll see. But
Yeah,
I don't mind them winning. I just don't like that it was at the expense of another damage control loss.
that's fair.
But
That's fair. But this match was just the appetizer for the main event. The Ring General Gunther versus main event Jey Uso.
I really enjoyed this
Yeet.
match.
This was a very good match. One of the better Jey Uso singles matches that he's had since his split with Jimmy, or at least I thought.
I did
and
too.
and
Very good match.
they didn't force Jay down our throat, and they actually let Gunther win, which I'm very, very happy with. They let Gunther get this win so that he can face off between either Randy Orton or Tama Tonga at Saturday in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia.
I think you
But
can
good
pencil
match.
in Randy on that one.
You think so?
I think so. Now, granted, it may be a DQ, but I
King
think
Tama. You don't want to see King Tama?
I just don't think they're going to do heel versus heel. You got to do the critters thing.
I can't find a clean video of him doing that.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, man, there's plenty of the critters rolling around.
No, not the critters. I can't find a clean video of Tama doing that. I've been looking. I gotta find my capture card, which is something that allows me to record things on my computer from like a screen, so I can record like when you see guys watching Raw or what have you on like TikTok, like when you see like them like reacting to like what's going on in Raw, they're able to get the Raw footage on there because they recorded it with the capture card. And I have one. I'm just gonna find it. But anyways, I will. But we got a very good match. What were your thoughts on this match?
I thought it was very good, and I liked Jay's match against Dragunov as well. I thought that was a good match.
He just needs a good dance partner. That's all.
Well, no, and that's what I was going to ask you, because I've never had I did not like the Jimmy versus Jay match. They themselves seemed to agree it wasn't that great. I think well, at least I think Jay has said the time they had got cut. So I don't know how much time got cut and what difference that added time would have done.
But added 13 more super kicks.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you can't help but to wonder. It's like, okay, Dragunov, even though, some fans like who don't watch NXT may not be familiar with him yet, but those are two. He back-to-back week, in my opinion, has faced two of the best wrestlers on this planet.
Yeah.
But I don't. I like Jay fine as a singles wrestler, but yes, I love the Usos, but I don't think I dislike his matches as much as maybe you or
I
others.
just think that he overuses his moveset, and the super kick is overused. His pretty much everything he does, it can't just be done once in a match, which means that you need to diversify your moveset.
Like
Even though John Cena might have had the 5 moves of doom, I wasn't going to see him do like 10 5-knuckle shuffles in a match. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. You're better than that, Jay.
Yeah.
You don't need to kick that much because first of all, it's your signature move and it doesn't hurt anyone. So just stop. No one cares about your super kick.
And with that said too, I mean, like, case in point with that, or doing something or tweaking things, Gunther, and just what I can think of recently, has won, I think, with at least four different moves, if not 5. I know he's won with that top rope splash. We saw that. He beat Pete Dunne with that when he got the NXT UK title. He's won with the single leg crab. He's won with the old school Boston crab. He's won with the power bomb. And he won with this, just choking him out with that I don't know if they had a name for that move, because I don't know if he's used that variation of it. And I feel like there may have been another type of submission that he used.
Right. He understands that there's more ways to win than just the finisher, which is something that he needs to impart on his fellow wrestlers. Because not only do they think that you have to win on a finisher, they also think the only way that you could create suspense is with a false finish. So that's just not wrestling.
But with that said, so I don't get accused of just being thinking
a Gunthright.
Gunthright. I was going to say being accused of saying everything he touches turn to gold, but that's a bad example because it does. He's a phenomenal wrestler. That splash is not good.
No,
but
clunky.
But I think part of that is him going out of his way to protect the other guy. If you look at the way he does it and the way he lands, I mean, he's not throwing caution to the wind like the Hardys. I think he's doing it to, just kind of sell the fact, okay, you got a big guy coming off the top rope. But also, I think, and sometimes it's looked a lot worse and less believable than other times. But I think that's him going out of his way to protect his opponent. That's my belief.
Fair enough. He's protecting main event Jey Uso because he knows what would happen if he didn't. If he hurt main event Jey Uso, his career would be over.
I love the finish.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
I don't have any complaints about what I saw in the squared circle on Monday night. Kudos to those two. But
we forgot something. One of the best parts of the night when Chad Gable used Maxine as a shield. That was amazing.
Excellent heel work. Using a woman as a meat shield. Cannot.
Oh, man. Dude, that was wonderful. But something I'm very, very curious about. I want to know, because Jay replaced McIntyre.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see them having McIntyre, regardless of if it was a loss like Jay had. I don't see them having him lose right now before Punk. In any capacity.
What was their plan?
Do you think Punk would have interfered again?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted your thoughts on that, because I was
cost the match.
Because when I saw that, I was like, I just don't see them having him lose right now.
Yeah, no, he wasn't going to lose.
But
he was not going to lose. But
I'll tell you what's going to be a good match that they had a backstage segment alluding to is Kaiser versus Sheamus. I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be a good wrestling match. And that, I mean, I don't know how far they're going to propel Kaiser, but that's going to be a good match. I think it's going to be a very good match. And I could see them putting the Intercontinental title on Kaiser at some point.
I can't.
I could see Gunther having the belt at some point down the line and Kaiser having the Intercontinental. I could see that.
Maybe.
He's a good wrestler. I'm not saying it's going to be a Gunther length run by any stretch, but I could see them putting it on him for a few months. I could see that.
Yeah.
He's a very good wrestler.
He is, but all in all, I thought there was a lot of good wrestling, a lot of good wrestlers on this edition of Monday Night Raw. But that's not all that we talk about on this podcast. We also want to get into NXT, and I've got some opinions about NXT this week.
Ladies and gentlemen, Josh watched this week.
I
Again,
did.
2 weeks in a row.
I did. And if I watched, you can rest assured there's going to be some NXT bashing on this edition.
I have multiple complaints about this.
I'm going to start with my issues with Thea Hale and what is it?
Fallon? Was that the first
Fallon.
match?
Yes, it was.
It was?
It sure was.
I didn't realize that was the first match. I thought there was something else that happened.
That was the first match. The two of them fought, and I actually, my gripe with this match is not huge. I actually enjoyed the match.
Oh,
I did.
I love both of them.
Yeah.
They're both very good.
Here are my issues. Thea Hale's the one from Chase U, right?
Yes.
Okay. Her facials bother me. Her face, the expressions that she uses, they bother me a little bit. And I know that's her character, but that character is not going to work on the main roster. And we've talked about this.
Yep. With her specifically. Yes.
Yeah. And with the way that she uses her face, that's not going to get over on the main roster. It's just not going to cut it. So I think that she should stop doing it now and get ready.
I think in doses, that intensity, like if she...
It just looks so forced. It doesn't look natural.
No, that when it's used all the time, I get that. But like say, you know how sometimes like when... I'm trying to think of an example here. Like a match that's popping in my head when Brock versus CM Punk. Mm-hmm. When I think Brock had the Kimura in or some type of submission and Punk was able to like roll through it and get in his own submission. I think there was a callback to like a Matt Hughes UFC match. I don't know if it was him, GSP, or him and Frank Trigg or whatever. It was a famous sequence from a famous MMA fight. Mm-hmm. And when he reversed it and like just the intensity he got like from reversing it and putting on his own move.
It's fine in those scenarios.
No, and that's what I'm saying. Like she already has that in her as part of her current character. Mm-hmm. But I wholeheartedly agree.
She shouldn't be coming down to the ring looking like that.
No, she needs to get away from this Chase U thing. And I know NXT loves Chase U. I get that. But I know I totally agree. But this is one though, just toning it down a little bit and getting her out of that. I think she'll do fine. She is a great wrestler. The problem I had with this, I don't have a problem with Fallon Henley moving on. I think they both should have been in this ladder match. I have a problem with them booking Thea Hale to lose at the expense of this god-awful, never-ending storyline with frickin' Ridge Holland. It's got to stop.
I love Ridge.
Stop it. So anyways, Fallon was going to attempt to use a chair. Ridge snatched it from her, and that's all the ref saw was Ridge with the chair, so he ejected everybody from Chase U, and then shortly after, Fallon hit her finisher for the win. And another reason I have a problem with this too is I think they said Thea in the combine they had to determine the competitors for an opportunity to go got second. Mm-hmm. And you're not even going to let her in the ladder match? I don't know, man. And again, I like Fallon Henley. I was very surprised when they had Jada Parker beat her clean a few weeks ago, but that led to the heel turn. So it was it all had a point to it. I get that. And I think she's going to be a favorite to win the ladder match. But, and apparently this whole thing with Thea and JC Jane and company is not done because after the match, do you have it pulled up? What's JC Jane's compadre's name?
Jasmine Nix.
Yes. Jasmine Nix came and gave a beat down of Thea afterwards, still stemming from JC losing to Thea and her putting her on the shelf for a while. And so apparently that story is not done. And so I think there's going to be some sort of alliance with Fallon and Nix and JC at some point, because there was a backstage segment later where Jasmine, Nix, and Fallon were talking, and that incident got brought up, and she's like, yeah, that's why I waited until after your match was done before I did what I did. But anyways, dude, Rich Holland, it has to stop. And then there was another backstage segment. Like, oh, see, I told you we couldn't trust him. He kept her from hitting her with a chair. That made no sense. Y'all all saw what happened. So he's trying to act like Ridge betrayed him. And I thought that was preposterous. It was like, okay, just this, it's got to stop with those two.
It's never going to stop. NXT is a land of preposterous things.
And those two are fighting next week, and I don't think either one of them are going to get a reaction. And so we will see. We shall see. What was next?
Next up was a tag team championship match between Nathan Frazier and Axiom versus the Family. Yeah. So I told you before we even started recording that I enjoyed. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed Nathan Frazier and Axiom. I think that they are both very talented individuals. I like their moveset. I would normally say that they don't belong in a tag team together, but I think that they work very well together and have nice tag team moves. My issue is their look. They don't look like they should be together. A lucha guy who wears a mask and then a long-haired white dude, they just don't have the aesthetic pairing.
That's racist. Stop.
Yep. I don't like the aesthetic pairing of the two of them. It just looks weird, just based off of tag teams that I've seen in my watching wrestling for almost 35 years.
But God, they're good. They're one of the best thrown together teams I've ever seen.
I agree. I agree. Nathan Frazier hit the ropes in this match, and he looked like Braun Breaker doing it with the speed that he was going through the ropes. I thought that was extremely impressive. There was a double team move that they did. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was just very impressive. I mean, they are a very, very, very good team that doesn't have any business being as good as they are. And it's because they're two very, very good individuals. I'd like to see, again, I didn't watch a lot of NXT, so I don't know what Nathan Frazier was doing prior to becoming in this tag team. But I kind of like to see him as a singles competitor. And while I think that they're a good team, I kind of want to see him alone just to see what it is. I don't think that either one probably has a persona to be able to strive on their own. And I also don't know how the tag team would work on the main roster. I don't know if it would, since it was clearly thrown together. And I don't think that they can do anything to make it not look that way unless they unmask Axiom, which they're not going to do. But they could at least get matching ring attire or something. They look thrown together. And
I don't like that weird thing they do when they sprint a little bit to the ring in their entrance, and it's like the looks like the Sonic the Hedgehog stuff or whatever it is they're doing.
Yeah.
But my biggest gripe with this, and almost torpedoed it to the point of an F- to me, the Family did not admit to one felony offense prior to this match, which I have become very accustomed to. And there was even no threat of a felony offense when they got the match with Axiom. Something
this should have been.
Something I did notice, though. They protected them with that finish. It was a roll-up. It was a roll-up off the distraction of Tony D'Angelo getting attacked from the crowd by a no-quarter catch crew. And Fraser rolled up, I think, Stax. I think he rolled him up. But, dude, Stax and Crucifino, they're a good tag team, man.
So one thing that stood out for me is Crucifino. He's got the look. He's got he has a really nice look to him. And he has a look that can absolutely be successful on the main roster when the time comes.
Yeah.
I only don't say that for what's the other guy's name?
Axe.
Yeah, I only don't say that about Stacks because Stacks has stupid hair, and
again, those are
that's fixable.
yes.
That's fixable because I don't think the characters are going to work in the main roster anyway. But I think that Crucifino has a look where he can transition to another role, and as long as the other guy Stacks changes his hair, I think he can succeed in the main roster as well because I think that he's got a good body and his face is fine. It's just his hair that's stupid.
I
And
think they'd make a good tag team.
Even the Don, I think that
dude, he is going to be dude. I can't believe he's only 25. They better,
all of them can be successful.
Yes,
on the main roster, I think, and I can't say that about most people on this program.
And I think they're going to revisit this match. That was intentional that they did not have them take a loss via a finisher. They had the tag team champions had to win with a roll up off of a distraction of D'Angelo getting tuned up. Yeah, and again, I don't like when factions take losses, but something like that, and considering the circumstances around it, I'm okay with how that happened.
Yeah.
What I'm not okay with
is what happened next.
Well, no, even in this segment, I thought we were done with No Quarter Catch Crew. They're good wrestlers.
That's what I meant. I meant No Quarter Catch Crew.
Okay.
And I meant Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. I meant all of that.
Oh, I like
that you do.
But dude, I thought we were done with No Quarter Catch Crew. I was like, finally, the family can move on from this. And boy, was I wrong. But that's the thing, man.
Nope.
In NXT, you can get away with not everybody being good on the mic or any of that. And if they're good wrestlers, hey, they're just gonna let them go, regardless of how god awful the promos are. But
NXT is about sports, on SmackDown are about entertainment. Yeah, so that's just the way that it is.
Well, we should do I just got an idea. We need to do a Who Wore It Better, the Don or Solo. We need to do that.
In the words of Paul Heyman, nice threads, Solo.
And I don't know how last week or the other day when I said Solo was shopping or borrowed from Suge Knight's closet. I don't know why, especially with the driving gloves, why it took somebody on the internet posting the weekend after hours. I was like, oh yeah. I was like, I love that whole album. I don't know how I didn't think about that.
Or did somebody call the weekend and then they called Solo weekday?
That's good, dude. That's good. But dude, and I'm telling you, man, with the family, something as simple to write off that over the top gimmick, have the feds arrest them.
Yeah.
And when they get out, they have to be low key, just no more of the flashy mob type outfits. And
they turned over a new leaf.
Yeah, dude. And seriously, something is more just some different ring gear and getting away from that. They're great wrestlers. They've got a good dynamic. They got a good thing going. Just let them be. And I hope they don't try to force that down the throats of SmackDown or Raw. Because I think that will be that'll tank them.
Yeah, I don't think they will. I think Triple H is smarter than that. But what he's not smart enough is
I'd be happy though. I don't want the Don to ever go away.
What he's not smart enough to do is, man, did he oversaturate this show with too much Gallus? And I felt like Gallus was in 3 different segments on this, which is insane for a show that's not that long. And we'll get to that. But we got the number 1 contenders match for the North American title between Wesley, Josh Briggs, and Joe Coffey. I don't know anything about Gallus. I've seen them once in my entire life. I'm aware of who Joe Coffey is. Didn't know he had a brother until recently. And then Wolfgang, not too familiar with his work.
Great chef.
Yeah, not a great wrestler. No, I don't know. I've never seen him wrestle. But how important are these people? Because they made it just seemed like they had their fingers on their thumb on so many things on this episode. And we got this number 1 contenders match. I I said this earlier. My issues with Josh Briggs are not related to his in-ring work per se. Well, not related to his wrestling. It's related to everything else that isn't wrestling. Those are my issues with Josh Briggs. His look. He needs a different haircut. I don't know if he needs a different beard or not. Yeah, his hair's stupid. His outfit is terrible. His mic work is awful. His voice is stupid, and his facials are bad. If he could fix all those things, he could win me over because I think he's a good big man. I think that he's a very good big man. Oh, yeah. There were some very innovative moves in this match. Like the one where he had one of those little guys under his arm, and then the other one jumped off the rope and did like a bulldog on him, and while he was doing the DDT to the other guy. I enjoyed that. I thought that was very creative. I don't know whose idea that was. Mine. But it was very creative. And there were there were a number of other moves in this match. That one showcased that he knows how to be a big man, because not every big person knows how to be a big man.
Agreed.
They tried to do things that Ricochet would do. Mm-hmm. You're not Ricochet. Gunther, when you go to the top rope, you're not Ricochet. Josh Briggs seems to understand who and what he is in the ring, which I respect. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate that. Don't wrestle outside yourself. You don't need to. You don't need to over wrestle. It's one of the problems with AEW. They over wrestle on WWE. Just sometimes simple is better. I don't like Wesley.
Why?
Nothing he does to me is believable. Just,
what do you mean? Like him being able to do that stuff to the bigger guys? Is that what you're saying?
No, like his selling needs a lot of work. It doesn't look believable to me. Like he got hit in the very beginning of the match, and he was like on all fours with the stupidest look on his face. And I'm just wondering, like, why is that your face right now? And I'm real big on the expressions. I'm really big on that stuff. And he doesn't have that aspect of things. That's not to say that he's not gifted, because he's physically gifted. He can do a lot of things that are impressive.
He's got a cool finisher too.
But he does. And he's got a lot he's someone who I think could be good. He just needs to tweak a few things.
But I think with him, I see what you're saying in those. I see what you're saying, and I think
these are fixable issues. I think that
I agree. Yes.
There are some things I don't think that Josh Briggs is ever going to be able to overcome.
I agree. He's never going to be good on the mic.
Yeah. He's never going to make that turn. I don't think he has the voice for it. I just don't think he can do it. Everything sounds forced and unrealistic. With Wesley, I think this entire match was a set of him becoming the North American champion. And I don't know how I feel about him getting that title back. I guess was he the longest running North American champion or something along those lines before he got hurt. The WWE knew that they wanted him to be champion. They could not have him beat Obafemi by himself. So they had this double pin, which is just lunacy.
Dude. By that logic, and at WrestleMania 2021, Reigns and Daniel Bryan beat Edge, or Roman Reigns and Edge beat Daniel Bryan. I can't remember who was on the bottom of the stack up. And it's like stuff like that. It's like, okay, obviously I remember that happened because that was awesome. I thought that was a great visual and a great way to end WrestleMania. Him just showing his dominance and pinning both guys like that. However, you can't have that happen, and then especially something that iconic. I mean, to me, it's iconic. That's something
iconic.
God, I miss them. That they've referenced that multiple times. But now on WWE programming, a couple years later, you're trying to convince me that if that happens, only the guy on the bottom loses. I just don't know how I feel about it.
Well,
I mean, okay, well, I know it.
There was no guy on the bottom.
As soon as that came out of my mouth. But still, it's like...
This was just a double pin where they both... One had one had the upper torso, one had the lower torso, so they didn't know who got the pin. I'd argue the man who's putting the shoulders down is the one who wins, because I've never seen anyone on the ground pinning someone on their legs. I've just never seen that before. I assume you could. I never thought about it, never had to. I would assume whoever was on top, which I believe was Joe Coffey, won the match. But that being said,
Yeah, Coffey
Ava
and
saw
Lee.
it differently.
Well, so did the ref.
So did the ref. And there's going to be what I really don't like is a triple threat setting up a triple threat. That's what I really don't like. And that is just stupid. You might as well just have a fatal four-way or at whatever their next pay-per-view is called. If you're just gonna make it a triple threat, just make it a fatal four-way. Let Briggs come in there and let him do all the big man stuff with Oba, and then let the other two do the little man stuff. I mean, I guess Joe Coffey's not that little, but
yeah. Now I'm second guessing my whole argument here about Roman Reigns in that pin. But okay, I think I know where I was going with that. Were the guy on top of that stack at that WrestleMania, were his shoulders on the ground or not?
Are you asking, was Roman's shoulders on the ground, or was Josh Briggs' shoulders on the ground?
No. Okay, never mind. That's irrelevant because I guess in a triple threat you only have to pin one person.
So there was a sandwich.
Okay, never mind. Only one person. Scratch. It's late, y'all. That's no excuse. I've been thinking about that all day. I'm not even going to try to act like I'm blaming
whoever's on top gets the pin. But they were trying to say on Tuesday that there was nobody on top. It was two people just on different parts of the body, but only one person was at the bottom.
Okay,
that is what they were trying to say. I can get that. It's stupid. I think that they chose to go that route.
Okay, so I think what they were saying is, and why she kept rewinding the tape back over and over, was they're saying they simultaneously fell on him to get the pin.
Yeah, okay. So she was trying to figure out who got on him first.
Okay.
And she couldn't figure that out. So she said, let's make it a triple threat. I just don't think that that's smart booking. That's my biggest issue.
Yeah, and
to me, it made a otherwise good match a little tainted.
And I don't know who they're going to have win, whether it be Wesley,
it's Wes,
or Coffey, or Oba.
You can stop. Retain. Oba's not retaining.
Okay, but if he doesn't retain, he should challenge for the main title soon.
I think that's what he's going to do.
Because
I think it's his time.
Because I'm trying to think who else they would. And like you said, in yet another Gallus segment later, Gallus attacked a Trick.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and Evans tried to make the save. And dude, I'm telling you right.
And it's Javon, not Javion. I've been telling you it's Javion. It is Javon.
All right. Anyways, we can get to that in a second because I've definitely got a theory of why this is all happening. But so yeah, the triple threat, I think we both had issues with the ending. I agree. I enjoyed the match.
Mm-hmm.
I did.
Everybody held their weight.
Yep. Yeah, as I figured they would, especially dude. And trust me, dude, Briggs is an abomination on the mic. He is. And he is one of the few people that comes out and doesn't even do anything overly heelish. And the fans just boo him out of the arena. But God, he is good in the ring. But which match was next?
It was the Women's North American title qualifier, Jada Parker versus Brenly Reese.
I liked this match.
Okay.
I will never like that finisher. The teardrop hip check, or whatever they call it. I will never like that match. I thought those two had good chemistry together. And dude, another one, talk about, I like Jada's character, her presentation, the all black. That's one of my favorite NXT entry themes is OTMs.
Mm-hmm.
And just coming out there, cocky, just old school, heelish, just nothing fancy. But the other one, it's like trying to make her look like a 80s workout video. Yeah. I don't like that, but she's a good wrestler. But again, I think that's something that can be tweaked. Like just a different outfit, some less god awful music. Because those two, because she's strong, man, and those two, and I think they can both be successful. But they've got Reese is involved in that angle of can't catch a break and the bad luck and losing. She's too skilled to be stuck in that, and they need to get her out of that quickly. But
I agree.
But I just don't know how much longer they're going to continue with that, because certainly they know that they've got a talented wrestler there. Because I'm telling you right now, she would be more successful in the ring right now than Maxine Dupree.
Yeah, but she didn't have Maxine Dupree's look.
I don't think there's anything wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong.
I don't think there is either,
look.
but I think that WWE has an affinity with blonde-haired white women. I think that's
Brindley Reese is blonde-haired and white. What are you talking about?
But she's like a isn't she the goth one?
No.
Who's the one?
Brindley Reese is the one that fought Parker in this tie in this.
I got the two of them mixed up.
Oh,
the black woman and the white woman. Yes, I got them mixed up. Listen, I hear the name Jada and I assume white. Just kidding.
I'm talking about Brindley Reese.
I know. Okay, yeah. Listen, all these women on NXT, they start to run together to me because I'm learning all these new names and these new faces, so I'm forgetting who's who and what's what.
Dude, what I'm confused though, and this is the same issue that they started running into, that Vince McMahon had to make a change. These bright, colorful, family-friendly characters that they had to transition into something a little more edgy, a little more modern. Sol Ruka, that music and that gimmick is horrific.
It's never going to work.
But she's
good.
She's good. She is good. Thea Hale is good. Get her out of Chase U. Brindley Reese is good. Get her new music. Let her get some wins. She's believable. She is a strong, good wrestler.
There are very few women on the NXT roster that would make it on the main roster as is.
But no, and that's the thing. And even, and we didn't talk about this earlier, Fallon Henley, this coyote ugly waitress gimmick thing she's got going on. Just like in the country western style entry music. It's like, no, I just don't get it. And the fact that Shawn Michaels is running that show, who was there during that transition to the most, well, I don't want to say for sure, but I'm sure it still holds true today, possibly, or at least one of the most successful from a financial standpoint and popularity eras in wrestling, just to continue having these bright, colorful, kind of silly characters. And yes, I'll include the family in there, even though I love it, the gimmick. I know that's not going to transition. Sol Ruka as a surfer is not going to transition. Alan Henley in this country western gimmick thing is not going to transition. Brindley Reese in this motivational workout trainer is not going to transition. But everybody I just said, they're all great wrestlers. And it just, that's what makes it more baffling to me, is who's running that show. And he is very aware, very, very aware of those things and what will work and what won't. That's what I don't understand. They can't blame Vince anymore. They can't.
Yeah, no, 100%. And the question is, why are they practicing this? If you know it's not going to work in the main roster, why not have them practice things that are actually helpful for when the time comes?
I don't know. And dude, and then even with Jada, I like Jada, but that finisher, dude, come on. I mean,
it's great. It's one of the best.
Man, I like her. Don't get me wrong.
One of the best.
No, I like her. Don't get me wrong. I still was in disbelief the first time I saw that. I was like, "There's no way. There's no way that that's a finisher," and it was.
It was.
And it was.
It is.
Yes.
It always will be.
Oh yeah. And but I enjoyed the match, and it was a clean. It was a clean win. I was confused though because the tag team that she's buddies with came out like they were watching backstage, and then they came out on the entry ramp. And Ofi, I can't think of their names offhand.
Anofi and Blade.
Yes, Anofi and Blade came out on the entrance ramp, and they said, "Oh, that distraction may have cost her," which I didn't notice that she had been distracted, but the announcer said it, so I guess that's what they're trying to write it off as, and maybe this bad luck thing. But anyway, so that happened, and yeah. So now, was there anything else that happened after this match, like for that segment, or was that it?
That was it.
Okay.
It went on to Lexis King versus Dante Chin with Mr. Stone match.
Dude, I'm not I know that NXT Level Up is a thing, but I'm not really familiar with it. But the fans love this guy.
Which one?
Chin. Yes.
Yeah.
That was like one of the loudest reactions of the night. And they were pumped. But again,
it was
the outfit.
NXT's first Singaporean superstar.
But the outfit, I mean, come on. What are they doing? I just don't. But, and some of his expressions too, like I know that's a big thing for you with me, some of the stuff, the facial expressions this guy had. But, you know, I don't, Lexus King is a heel you love to hate. And I don't mind him losing with a cheap win. And I thought it was hilarious that Booker T was like, "Yeah, just about to get the hell beat out of me." He was so confident. And I thought that was great. Like, come on, I put money on you. and then talking about all the stuff they're presenting wrong, I like the presentation of Lexus King. Just arrogant, unaware that he's not as good as he thinks he is heel.
There's a place for that.
Yeah, that's a tried and true method, but it's nothing too absurd and over the top. And I just don't. I would love to one day just ask those questions, like a formula that you knew ran its course a while ago. And knowing that stuff will not transition, why do they try to push it there? I don't. Yeah. I don't get it, man.
Square peg, round hole.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just especially the women on that roster. For some of them, for in-ring ability, I'm going to go ahead and say it can match some of those on the main roster right now. But just with the gimmicks and the presentation and the entry music and a lot of that stuff, it's just they're not doing them any favors. Anyways, but
speaking of not doing any favors, we got another segment involving Gallus, except this time it was Trick Williams, who eventually got laid out by Gallus. I think that Trick, prior to getting laid out by Gallus, maybe it was just me, maybe I'm nitpicking, but I felt like he was struggling a little bit on the mic. But
he does have his moments where he seems a little like I don't know if it's necessarily uncomfortable or maybe like is trying to do some things on the fly or and gets hung up a little bit. But yeah, I don't like what they've done with the beginning of his championship run at all. Very, very odd. But again, that could just be for a lack of people at the lack of competitors right now, and maybe they're unsure of what they're going to do and what the long-term plan is.
Yeah. No, hang on one second. My headphones were dying. I had to plug them back in.
Nice. All right. I said I had a theory on this. Look who is the GM of NXT.
Go on.
Look who they had train for months to get Rock ready for WrestleMania. Gallus.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Is that why they were in 11 segments out of the 8?
I think it's possible. I think it's very possible.
Gallus could not have been this popular prior to their return.
I don't think they were. Now, again, I could be wrong.
I don't hear the crowd caring.
Yeah. Now, I like coffee on the mic. I like that kind of intensity and that. And there's certain characters that some of the little bit over the top intensity. I think he does it like when he was so fired up at the end of last week, but then coming out and, talking to Trick a little bit before the beatdown. I think he knows when to turn it up and turn it down. He is very aware of that. But dude, I can't help but to think that is why they're being prominently featured.
I mean, now that you mention it, it makes sense.
But
I don't like that that's the case.
yeah.
And you know what? I don't even mind them prominently featuring them. I just don't need them in multiple segments on a show with a roster that's that large. We don't need one faction of 3 guys who aren't necessary. I mean, they're not. I don't know what they bring. They're fine in ring, or Joe Coffey's fine in ring. They're not. They don't have personalities that can carry the entire show by themselves. They just don't.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's dude, that whole thing was weird, but I'm telling you right now, I was prepared to just throw my hands up and stop watching for 10 minutes. And when Evans came out and I thought he was going to overcome the 3-on-1 odds by himself, when I say 3-on-1 because Trick was incapacitated in the corner.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to come out and clear the ring. I was like, no, this can't happen. But he did not, and he got beat down too. So I was fine with that. And
because The Rock's not going to let Gallus get beat down.
Yes. But yeah, so we had that, and I don't know if we talked about this earlier, just before I forget again. Going back a few matches, when Axiom and Fraser won, the Good Brothers came in and hit Magic Killer, and presumably that's going to be the match at a Battleground in a few weeks for the NXT titles. But anyway, so yeah, dude, it was a little overkill, and I was confused. They're like, I bet you're wondering why I'm out here. Or I'm sorry, Coffee walked down and was talking to Triggs. Like, I bet you're wondering why I'm out here when I'm going to be in a triple threat match for the North American title. And then he's like, I'm about to tell you why or something. And then the rest of Gallus went in there and beat him down. And I was like, hey.
They're taking all the gold.
Yeah, well, we shall see. But dude, the more I think about it though, I'm trying to think of singles competition wise for the men that's not in, because more of the bigger names are competing for the North American title right now than they are for the championship.
Yeah.
And I think they're keeping D'Angelo away from it because I think eventually they're going to put the belt on the Don at some point. So I think with him recently losing in his opportunity to Dragunov, they're keeping him away. That's why they gave him the Heritage Cup. Give him some time with that before they reintroduce him to the main title scene. But dude, I'm just so confused, man. They had, that segment where Noam Dar took out Trick a couple weeks ago, but then Dar was laid out last week and still haven't said who did that. But now this week when Trick's out there, Metaphor is, or 3/4 of Metaphor is outside of the ring, but then Gallus comes down. It's like, I'm confused, dude.
They're doing a good job of confusing everybody.
Yeah. But there's not many. I don't know who else they're going to have compete against Trick.
Ridge Holland.
Oh God, please don't.
Yeah, that's it.
Unless they
best choice.
Unless they put the Rocket, keep putting the Rocket on Evans and they turn him heel. But I'm thinking more than likely it's going to be Obafemi.
I think so. I think he loses his title and then he goes into that scene, which is perfectly fine.
Yeah, we'll see what happens though. What was next?
What's next is also what was last. Huh? We got a women's tag team main event between Shayna Baszler and Lola Vice versus the Boat and Carmen Petrovich. I cannot stand they call her the Boat. Not only is it not a real term and it sounds stupid, but it's just patently false. How is she the best of all time?
Because she is.
Okay. Also, she is more and more becoming like a cartoon characters. One time I seen Natalia, she needs to just lay off plastic surgery.
No, she doesn't.
For just a little bit.
No, she doesn't.
Her face has no it's so like it's man.
Yeah, I guess they do trust me. I've had this conversation many a times, and at the end of the day, I have to remind myself, hey, to each their own. But just there's certain people I see, and I'm like, I remember what they look like before I had some sort of cosmetic procedure done, and they're to me very attractive. And it's like I that's something I don't get, but again, it's not me, and there's a variety of reasons people could have that done. So, but no, I'm with you. It's just one of those things that just can't help but just to be curious about. But anyways, back to the wrestling, dude. Just when I saw the advertisement for this match with her with those swords, I can't. I can't.
Those swords.
I can't do it, dude. I can't. You're not going to use the swords. Stop bringing them to the ring.
I can't wait till one day they use the swords. Just kill a man on live television. Stab him.
Chop, chop, chop. PP or PP chop chop. What was it?
Yeah, that was the chop chop PP.
Chop chop PP.
Val Venus. Yeah.
But
yeah,
I just this feud is never ending. Well, okay, I guess it's over now, but
yeah, they moved it to Lola versus Shayna.
Yeah, but
in NXT Underground.
Okay, and I've got issues with this. Number one, this feud should have been over. Not talking about Shayna versus Lola, but the thing with them versus Natty and Carmen should have been done, dude. To me, it seems like NXT Underground would be the equivalent of like a Hell in a Cell.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, should be the end of it. But then it came right back to it. And then having, Carmen get the win, and yeah, I get it. And you could see it brewing with Shayna always being kind of like, okay, stop this with the dancing. And then, but then, when Shayna helped Lola up, Lola was the one that had kicked her first, which I did not see that coming since Lola took the pin, which I did not like that either. I did not like Lola taking the pin. But when she turned on Shayna first, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
But then, of course, I did like when the dance had started and then she got her in the clutch. That was awesome. But then, and then also with them doing the NXT Underground just a couple weeks ago, and now you're doing another one. Yes, I get it. It's at the UFC Apex Center or whatever it's called. I get it. I get the MMA background of the two. I get that too. But you just had an NXT Underground match.
Don't want to oversaturate the market.
I know,
That's one of the reasons why the Hell in
Cell's
Cell's gone.
Exactly, and that is the thing. I don't get it. Why are you doing what you just said you weren't going to do? And like from show to show, like you don't want to oversaturate it. Okay, you hadn't done an NXT Underground in a while. You hadn't done a women's match, and now you're going to have a women's NXT Underground, but now you're going to have two in a month, essentially.
Yeah.
And I don't know, but I am looking forward to that match too. I think it'll be okay. Well, I say that I was looking forward to a straight up wrestling match with those two. I would have enjoyed that, and I'm sure I'll probably still enjoy this too. But I don't know, man. But they're really pushing this hard, and they obviously have big plans for Lola Vice. Carmen Petrovic.
Hopefully it involves her stopping dancing.
Yeah, Carmen Petrovic is too green, and I can see why they put Natty with her, without question. But I think Lola's fine. Lola's ready. But they had her main event, one of the spring break-in, your favorite title ever for a pay-per-view or PLE.
Spring breaking.
They had her main event they had her main event this episode of NXT, and she's going to be prominently featured with Shayna Baszler in their upcoming Battleground event. So they've obviously got plans for her. Speaking of plans for somebody in the women's division, did you catch the backstage phone call that Ava had talking about
Yes.
Roxanne Perez's talk? She's like, I talked to Adam, I talked to Nick, everything is signed off on, and like, yep, and it'll determine like who Roxanne's next opponent's going to be.
Right.
So I am interested to see how they're going to handle that. However, with that said, they have enough depth for the NXT women to not have to go to SmackDown or Raw for whatever they're planning on doing. That's my biggest gripe with that. They don't need them.
Right.
All these names I listed earlier, and now granted, I know they are definitely making the focal point right now for the women, that NXT North American title, women's title. Did they show Tatum Paxley this week in any capacity? Because I did not see her.
Seeing her. I don't remember seeing her either. Also, granted, I wouldn't recognize her in a lineup of one.
Yeah, yes, you would. That's the one who's got the goth look.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, no, I didn't see her.
Okay,
Thought I did.
Because remember last week she was in The Office.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't remember seeing her in anything like that. Okay, what about this? I guess you'd call it a vignette of you hear the alarm going off and like a woman waking up. Did you catch that? They did that one again this week.
Mm-mm.
It's like an alarm clock going off or something. You hear like somebody snoring, and then you hear it's like a woman waking up and it's somebody getting out of bed.
No,
but they ran that this week, and they ran either the exact same one or a similar one last week, and there was nothing else. No spoken words, no logo on the screen, nothing. But it was clearly a woman's like woman yawning. It was very, very odd.
I missed that.
But anyways, I thought for sure, especially with her almost winning the women's title in the triple threat, that she would get, that Paxley would get a it is Tatum Paxley, right? Am I saying this right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay. I would have assumed that she was going to get the next title opportunity, but God, who knows what the hell they're doing now, man. They're constantly bringing people from the main roster over, but especially for the women, they do not need that. There is plenty of depth there, regardless of what you think of the characters or what I feel of the characters they have. There's still plenty. There's no shortage of great wrestlers over there to have a good
100%.
match with Pop Rocks. So
yeah.
Anyways, and I don't like that this match closed the show either. I don't.
Well, you got to close the show with the boat, and you have to. It's just if you don't, then they might forget who you are.
One of those things.
I'll give this a B minus, C plus NXT.
Give it a B.
Some good, some bad, some ugly, but hey, I watched, so that's a win for me. Pat myself on my back. And I also appreciate all of you watching episode 22 of the Golden Squeeze podcast. We will be here likely for a special edition to talk about the upcoming Crown Jewel pay-per-view, Crown Jewel King of the Ring.
And Queen of the Ring.
And Queen of the Ring in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Thank you for watching. Hit that bell icon if you enjoyed what you saw, and like and subscribe. We'll see you when you see you on the next Golden Squeeze podcast. Oh, yeah.